EA Sports. Up next, we've got what should be a great matchup between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Detroit Lions. I'll be back at halftime to look at some of these stats and scores from Sunday's action. But for now, it's Monday Night Football. And to call the action, here are Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
Well, Coach, the seating capacity is 65,000 at Ford Field, and we are right around that number today. A good crowd on hand and seemingly ready to go in the Motor City. Nothing like the fanfare of introductions to an NFL game, and that was in evidence a moment ago. Fireworks, pyrotechnics, you name it. To match up between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Detroit Lions. Along with Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. And Charles, we look at this Lions team entering play. They come in after tasting defeat for the first time in about a month as their loss snapped a 4-game winning streak. Meanwhile, for our visitors, the Eagles, it's late in the year. We all know it. We've seen the calendar for these guys. Their bodies could probably use a break, but they have to push on.
And they're really not as worried about that as maybe we think. They know they've got the entire offseason to rest. All they care about is the game in front of them and finishing strong.
It's the final 3 weeks of the season. Still plenty to play for here as we're underway in Week 15. Fielded about a yard deep. And he'll be brought down here as the penalty flags come in right away. And we may have a face mask here right at the start. So that flag will cost him 15.
And it doesn't matter anymore how you get the face mask. Any part of it, that's going to be 15 yards.
And now it's 1st and 10. A big mistake, especially when you factor in the personal foul yardage. To throw, it's Wentz. And a reception made by Alshon Jeffrey. Now he's going to get this all the way down inside the 35. Just like that, a pickup of 20 on their first play from scrimmage. Solid catch there for a man who's been so brilliant this year. Worth pointing out, as we were talking about earlier, there has never in the 60-year history of the award been a pass catcher, tight end, or wide receiver that has taken home the MVP trophy.
And the best receivers I've talked with, they know that stat, and it drives them crazy because they understand that without a quarterback, they don't make the plays that they make. But they also don't feel like they get enough credit for bailing out some of the throws that quarterbacks make.
Absolutely. Takes two to tango. So they'll come up 1st and 10 now from the 33. Here's carry number 1 for Jordan Howard. Now that play is blown up, losing yardage back at the 35. That's going to go as a loss of 2, and it'll be 2nd down. On 2nd and 12, Wentz. And that's complete to Jeffrey. 6 yards is the pickup, and that'll lead to a 3rd down.
Defensively here, you're facing a top-5 team in terms of points scored in the NFL. So when they're that high-powered, you've got to find a way to hold them under 20. Because to me, that's the magic number. 20-point score gives yourself you give yourself your best chance to win.
So if they're up around 24, 28, 30, they could be in some trouble.
I think so, because then you turn it into a shootout, and that means your offense has to keep pace.
Throwing now is Wentz. And my goodness, this is incomplete. The Eagles unable to convert there on 4th. And this crowd loves it as their guys hold on the opening drive. Well, trying to be bold on the opening drive of the game, but that effort, it proves futile.
How many times have we talked with coaches where they've talked about taking the emotion out of their decision-making? I think that opening drive, if he didn't have it in his head to go for it before, I think that keyed into it. They were doing so well, and he decided to really establish something there. They didn't get it. Now they've got to make sure that they don't lose their focus.
On second down, Johnson. And he is met in his tracks behind the line of scrimmage. It's a loss of 2, now third down. Throwing on third down, Stafford. He's got his man, T.J. Hockenson. And he'll be taken down, but not before they work it across midfield. A really nice gain of 25 yards. So from Philadelphia territory now, here's a 1st and 10 at the 46. Back to throw, Stafford. Caught by Wilson. And he is tackled inside the 40, not quite to the 35. It's a gain of 10 for the Lions and a 1st down. The 1st down carry here for Johnson. And he'll lose yardage on the play back at the 37-yard line. That's going to go as a loss of a yard, and it'll be 2nd down. On 2nd down now. It's Johnson, and he'll take this one down to the 36. After getting stuffed on 1st down, not much better there. 2-yard gain. On 3rd down, Stafford. Looking for Jones, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Ronald Darby. And he's able to get it back to the 33-yard line.
That was a really nice interception. I think it illustrates the differences between playing man and playing zone. When you're in man, all you're focused on is the receiver in front of you. But when you're in zone, you're allowed to read the quarterback's eyes and go to the ball.
And a nice gain of 21 yards.
82.
On 1st down, Wentz. It's brought in by Jeffrey. And a pretty little juke move there on a nice gain. Give him 9 there on the 1st down completion. That last catch short of the marker by just a yard leaves him with a very manageable 2nd and 1. And the reinforcements come in as they're going to stop him behind the line. It'll go as a loss of a yard, and it'll set up 3rd down. Wentz looking to throw on 3rd and 2. And that will be incomplete. Knocking it away there defensively, Justin Coleman.
Certainly looked like they were getting ready to convert there on 3rd down, but what an effort to get his hand on that one, knock it away, and brings up a 4th down decision.
Wentz going to go on 4th down. He'll buy some time right. He can run for it, and he will. A nifty bit of scrambling there. 12 yards, 1st down. So the youngster able to use the legs to pick up the 1st.
And one of my pet peeves when they see this guy play, when Carson Wentz takes off running the football, I always hear people go, oh, he's sneaky athletic. No, he's athletic. Watch him do it. It's an integral part of the prototype that needs to be broken down for him.
Wentz on target there to Jeffrey. They get him to the ground right on the cusp of the red zone after a pickup of 5 or 6. And he is the NFC rating offensive player of the week. You got to think, all the guys that take the field each and every week, that's not an easy award. Always has to feel good to grab.
It has to feel great because it separates you, at least for a week, amongst your peers. And for him to separate again, he has to have the same type of a game. That means being explosive off the line of scrimmage and catching everything that comes his way.
On 1st and goal, Howard. And he'll be brought down. Oh, that's a face mask. Certainly looked like it. Indeed, here come the flags. Well, we looked at each other right away. We knew that flag was coming out.
And I always enjoy the conversation post because officials always tell you, I don't want to throw the flag, but you caused the play. You did it.
This is taken by Jeffrey. He's got it. Touchdown, Eagles. 2 yards on the touchdown there as his guys are on the board first here tonight. And all about timing there on that short slant, Charles.
Exactly right. That was timed up so well. The route, the throw, touchdown.
Elliott good with a PAT, and it's now a 7-0 game. Now after the touchdown, here's Elliott on to kick it away. This is taken about 7 yards deep. And no run back here. This will be a touchback. Here's the Detroit offense now as they head back out onto the field. And there are parts of their last drive they'd like to emulate. And, of course, they'd like to forget the ending, the interception. But they did put together, Charles, a nice sustained drive to get them down the field.
Yeah, and unfortunately for them, the only thing that matters is part two, right? Because once they threw the interception and finished off the drive, that does them no good to go back and say, well, you know what, a good one going. Finish things off. That's the only way you can get it done. In so many ways, throwing the hitch route is actually one of the safer things an offense can do. Get the ball out to the receiver as fast as possible, hope he's got man-to-man coverage, and hope that his athleticism wins on the perimeter.
They still need about the length of the football here, maybe a little less as they come up on 2nd and inches. Stafford going to give this one off to Johnson. Looking for a seam, but finding none. He'll get back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it. Officially, it's no gain on the play, and they'll remain a few inches shy of a first with 3rd down looming. Stafford, and he'll find Galladay. That's complete. And he'll be taken down, but not before he works it past the 50. First down, Detroit, 16 yards on the pickup. So from Philadelphia territory now, here's a 1st and 10 at the 49-yard line. They'll run it with Johnson. And he is met at the line of scrimmage, and he goes down right there. Malcolm Jenkins up to make the stop. First down, Detroit, 16 yards on the pickup.
Of course, the catch was nice, but how about what happened after? We're able to stay on his feet and gain all that additional yardage. So many of these slot guys, I think, have running back in their background.
Tackle made there by Zach Brown. Now to Galladay on the jet sweep. And he'll get this down to about the 30, 31-yard line. 1 yard, the official pickup there, so it's going to set up 3rd and 9. To throw on 3rd down. Stafford, open man, he's got him, the tight end, Hockenson. And they will rally and stop him short of the first down. They get him to the ground at the 26. 2 minutes on the clock, 2nd quarter, 7-0 ball game. Oh, they get to the football. It's blocked.
Partner, I think they saw something there. I mean, they came from the right side deliberately, and you know there's always a designated guy who goes and blocks it, but it's the rest of his teammates that get him free.
The throw right side is complete here on the first play of the drive. And they're going to have this across midfield and inside the 45. The Eagles going to take the first of their timeouts as they'll get a chance to talk it over after picking up the first down. Wentz now on first down. And he'll hit Jeffrey complete. Give him a couple on the catch. It's 2nd and 8.
Good throw, good catch, but I really like the route. The drag and being able to run away from defenders, hard to stick with them for that long.
Yeah, better against man than zone, or?
Better against man, because now you're running away from someone and you're not running into a defensive player in another zone.
Now, meanwhile, a pass that should have been intercepted, but it winds up falling incomplete. And complete to Zach Ertz. And it's going to be another first down as they'll get him to the ground at the Lions' 32-yard line. Wentz now hitting on 2/3 of his passes, 10 for 15 so far. 1st and 10. Throwing on first down, but this one winds up to be incomplete. Well, the incompletion, yes, but maybe here not the worst thing in the world?
No, not on 1st and 10. It actually gives them a chance to regroup, relax just a little bit. They huddle up, talk it over, then they get a chance to continue their drive.
And he'll go out of bounds inside the 15-yard line. That one a gain of 20 and a first down. Into the red zone. Wentz. Jeffrey reels it in over the middle. A great move in there, but it only takes him to the 7. He's dropped there. Now the Eagles will use the second of their timeouts as they'll stop it with just over 40 seconds to go in the first half. 2nd and 5 after the 5-yard completion up. This is taken in by Jeffrey. He's got it. Touchdown, Eagles. Carson Wentz with 2 first-half touchdown passes. And the Eagles able to push further out in front. And that'll give them a 2-score lead here, but I'm looking ahead. They just want to hold it for the final moments here in the second quarter. They don't want to give up anything on the other side.
No, not at all, because if they don't, it almost had the feel of an imposing their will score. And right now, they want to make sure they keep that and carry it into the second half.
Now after the touchdown, here's Elliott on to kick it away. This will be taken to the back of the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. So here come the Lions now.
And you're under a minute to go in the half, a first half that hasn't been particularly kind to you. How do you think they'll play this?
Well, I think the smart approach is to run out the clock, lick your wounds at the half, and see if you can come up with a strategy to play better in the second. But there's also something to challenging your offense right here. You know, hey, guys, you help dig this hole. See if you can get us out of it a little bit before the half runs out. Let's go make some plays.
Catch is made by Hawkinson, the tight end. The Lions will use the first of their timeouts as the clock will stop with 33 seconds to go in the first half. 2nd and 6, just inside the 30.
Watch Mike.
Now this time they'll just keep this on the ground. And he'll push forward here for a good little run as the clock continues to run.
The Lions now going to use the second of their timeouts as they stop it with 28 seconds to go in the first half of play. Here defensively, 6 DBs in the game.
Give me that ball, defense.
From the gun, here's Stafford. And that will be incomplete. Well, they weren't scared to let it fly, but it falls to the ground and brings up 4th down.
Some of the fans here don't seem too happy about what we've seen in this first half.
No, not at all, and I understand why. They've looked lethargic, out of sync, and it shows on the scoreboard.
On 4th down, here's Sam Martin on to kick it away. Only 2 punts for him last week in the loss as he gets this one away. And now running right through it. The Eagles offense set to begin their next drive.
Time here for likely a couple plays if they want it, but with the field position what it is, maybe better suited to just sit on this one?
I'm with you totally. I would sit on it and get into the locker room and start over. But if they do decide to try and make a play, we know what the basics are. You run draw, you run screen. I would maybe run a little swing pass and try and get my lineman out in space and see if they can chop a hole into the secondary and see if he can run a little bit.
On first, they go right back to Howard. And he's going to be taken down here as that will lead us to the end of the first half of play. So we come upon halftime with our score 14-0. As we send you down to Orlando, where Jonathan Coachman has our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach.
All right, Brandon, thanks very much. We'll get back to you and Charles in a minute. But first, time to give the folks at home a look at what's going on around the NFL. We'll start up at TIAA Stadium in Jacksonville, where you see the final score there. Josh Rosen, 4 touchdown passes in the victory. From there, let's head off and check out a second game. And they were winners in that one over the visiting Raiders. Melvin Gordon, over 100 yards on the afternoon thus far with a touchdown run as well. Finally, let's get to Indianapolis to check on the Colts at home at Lucas Oil Stadium. And they were losers in that one to the visiting Houston Texans. 38-14, the final score. In our game, it's been Carson Wentz with a strong first half. His guys have a 2-touchdown lead as we hand it back over to Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
All right, Coach, thank you, and we welcome everyone back for quarter number 3. Both teams appear ready for the fight ahead, and we resume action here in quarter number 3. This is taken about 7 yards deep. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. The Detroit offense ready to begin their drive. They come out here with a 0 on the scoreboard. What was said in that locker room? That's what I want to know.
I would love to have been in there because we often have the feeling that there's a lot of shouting, screaming, people upset. But typically, halftime locker rooms are a lot more clinical than that. And in this case, are they upset that the plays weren't working because of execution, or did they think they were just bad plays to call? Yeah. We'll find out pretty quickly here if they feel like they had something going, but they just need to do it a little bit better or not.
We'll find out. A loss of 2 there. Second down.
32. Let them know.
On second and 12, Stafford, and he'll complete this one to Fulgham. 8 yards on the completion, but now they face third down. This offense in desperate need of a conversion as they come up on third down. Stafford. Catch made by Fulgham. And he'll go out of bounds. It appears right at the 45. They get only 4 that time as that leads us to a fourth down.
Well, it wasn't a big strike, but that completion put them in really great range. What do we have now, 4th and inches?
Yeah, it's not more than a half a foot.
You know what I would do here?
You would always go for it.
I'm one of those guys.
Alshon Jeffrey working his way back out there now to help lead this offense. And I know that they've double-teamed him a couple times, but not a ton. Whatever they're doing, nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Trey Flowers has now recorded 10 sacks on the season. So they come out of the locker room trailing, but plays like that, they won't be trailing much longer. Defense really starting out well this second half.
Yeah, they knew they had to jump start.
And the pressure gets to him again. Damon Harrison bringing in 341 pounds of power for the sack. After the sack, they'll come up now 3rd and long.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see them run the ball here just to try and get some space.
And they're going to sack him yet again. The pass rush has been relentless. This time, it yields a safety. So the defense does their job. They get rid of that 0 on the scoreboard. Now we'll see if their offense can come to play.
Well, that's the way you get things started, right? Score yourself on defense, get the ball back for your offense, and tell them, let's go. We're in the game now.
Let's go, folks.
The Lions offense ready to kick off their next drive. And with this deficit, you can't have too many more drives like the last drive where you had to punt it away.
You know what I would tell my offense right here? The punter doesn't exist, guys. He doesn't even exist. He's not a team anymore. I just cut him, all right? So you've got to go out and create some offense for us here and give us some points. No way does that guy get on the field on this drive.
Poor punter.
Yeah, it wasn't his fault. But listen, there's got to be casualties at times. We're trying to win a game.
6 yards to pick up, and that's a first down. They stay on the ground on first with Johnson. And they're able to swarm him behind the line, and his rough night continues. That's going to go as a loss of 1 on first down. On second down, it's Johnson. And this one also slow in developing as he's maybe getting back here to the line of scrimmage, but not much more than that. On third down, Stafford. Right side, it's the tight end, Hockenson. And he gets this only to the 41, not near enough for the first. They get only 4 that time as that leads us to a fourth down.
He wasn't the primary target, but I think it was almost like a check down situation, wasn't it?
Yeah, hoping he can break some tackles, a big tight end, but he couldn't do it.
Yeah, get it to that big frame and hope he can scatter some bodies, unable to get it done.
Here's the Philadelphia offensive unit now as they head out to take over possession. They had that first half lead, but they have been shut down here in this third quarter, so time to retool a bit.
and probably need to tap into that emotional vein that gets them back to really playing hard and effectively. Because a lot of times we think it's just play calls and this isn't working and they're shutting them down. Sometimes when you get a lead, you lose your edge. You don't play quite as hard. That's what they're looking for here.
Trying to get that edge back as they've watched this lead shrink a little. Alshon Jeffrey, touchdown, Philadelphia. Alshon Jeffrey, 60 yards. And the Eagles able to push further out in front.
And this is obviously quite a performance. And most of the time when we talk about someone putting a team on their back, I think we're talking about a guy who runs the football. In this case, it's a guy out wide catching it, and he's done exactly that, truly leading his team right now towards victory.
3 touchdown catches. He's been the headliner. This will be taken to the back of the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. And Detroit getting set to go now. And here we are almost through 3 quarters of play, and this passing game still has not really found any kind of rhythm.
Put it mildly, because they're not even over 100 yards yet. And in today's NFL, where it's a pass-first league, that is quite surprising. Not many teams patient enough to stick with the run. Everybody wants to advance the ball through the air. They've got to get their timing back.
They begin the drive with Johnson. He'll be dropped after a gain of about 6 across the 30 to the 31.
He's had a ton of success here so far, but you get the feeling that he might be on the verge of popping one.
Yeah, even on that one, there was a little bit of a hole, but it closed there quickly at the end.
False start, offense.
Expect this from the visiting team when playing indoors, but not the home team.
They're supposed to get all the advantages, right? The home crowd's supposed to help them. They forgot where they were, perhaps.
Now Stafford. And his throw is incomplete. Breaking that one up was Justin Evans. Read it perfectly. This offense in desperate need of a conversion as they come up on 3rd down. A shotgun snap for Stafford. Oh, a hit. He lost the football. Stafford puts it on the ground. And it's picked up by the Eagles. And he will take this down to the 10-yard line. The defense gets him the ball via the turnover. Now can this offense cash in? 1st and goal. And he'll be brought down on what's going to turn out to be the final play of this 3rd quarter. 1 quarter remains here as we wrap up the week on a Monday night. You are watching the NFL on EA Sports. Howard all alone in the backfield on 2nd and goal. Throwing his Wentz. This is taken in by Jeffrey. He's got it. Touchdown, Eagles. A 5-yard touchdown catch. And the Eagles take advantage of good field position on the turnover to cash this one in. They were still throwing with a comfortable lead here late, and now that lead even more comfortable.
And your first thought is there bad blood that went into this one ahead of time, that maybe they're seeking some revenge or they just don't like them? But the other thing that always hits me is, are they worried about playoff positioning? Right? Are they worried about, do you need enough points in case there's a tiebreaker that comes into play later?
And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. The Detroit offense ready to begin their drive. And last time, not only the turnover, but that turned into 6 points. They got to make up for that here.
You always hear about empty possessions, but some are worse than others. You can have an empty possession, punt the ball away, get yourself set to play defense, but when you turn it over, it changes momentum, and when they take it downfield and punch it in on you, that's a bad possession all the way around.
Yeah, but you're hungry to get back out there, aren't you?
You better be, because otherwise it's going to be a long day for you.
Now the 2nd down throw on target. And he's taken down, but able to slip across the 35. 19 yards to pick up there. Move the chains. Stafford down. A perfect 8 for 8 to start the 2nd half. Not bad. 1st and 10. Out of the gun, Stafford. Complete. It's Johnson. And that'll be good for 8 yards to the 45.
It's funny, throughout the time that we've been together, when we talk with running backs about the ability to catch the ball, their eyes light up when they talk about open field and having one-on-one matchups, don't they?
Yeah, they do. And that's the reason why. What we just saw, shedding those tackles, and that's what they're used to doing.
It is, and it starts at the beginning of the play. One-on-one matchup if someone's trying to cover them, but they also like those one-on-ones downfield after the catch when they're running with the ball. They think they're going to win those too.
A huge play there on the screen pass. 48 yards. Now a chance to make that big play really hurt. It's 1st and goal just outside the 5. They'll try and run. This is Johnson. And he'll be stopped just outside the 5 at the 6. Only a yard on the pickup there. 2nd and goal.
It's a gain of a yard. Brings up 2nd and goal.
The 6-yard line, the line of scrimmage on 2nd and goal.
I'm on.
Throwing is Stafford. Johnson odds poke free. Football's out. And it's picked up by the Eagles. And he's into the clear. He's at the 50, the 30, the 20. And he'll score. Touchdown, Eagles. How about that for a momentum swing? You had it goal to go. Not only do you cough it up, but they pick it up and return it all the way for a touchdown.
And now you have to give oxygen to the entire team because what a letdown that was. Terrific drive. Looked like you're going to get points. Instead, the other team registers them on the scoreboard.
Elliott good on the extra point, and that will extend this big lead. So here's the kickoff now as they'll get it again following that fumble return for a score. This is taken about 7 yards deep. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Here's the Detroit offense now as they head back out onto the field. And they weren't on the sidelines for long, but I'll tell you what, I'm glad you and I weren't down there. We could hear them. The coaches from all the way up here, they were adamant, you've got to hold on to the football or else we have no hope.
Yeah, it's easy for me to laugh sitting up here, but you're exactly right. If we were down there, that message would have been received a whole different way. Because turnovers, they've been a big problem for them. Got to take care of the football. Got to hold on to it.
To throw again on 2nd down. Stafford, he completes it to Jones. And he'll be tackled right on the chalk at the 45. 1st down Detroit, 16 yards on the pickup. Offense for them has been at a premium. You wonder where plays like that have been all game long.
They're thinking the exact same thing themselves, but they're also looking forward now because now these plays are really for next week, trying to get some momentum going.
And he takes this one down almost all the way to the 30. The catch and run, good for 24 yards.
Quarterbacks love slant routes because the receivers are breaking right into their line of vision, and receivers love them as well because they're getting the ball on the move and able to catch it and try and get upfield.
And he's going to be taken down. Pressure gets there back at the 39-yard line. Matt Milano in there to take him down on what will take us to the 2-minute warning. Just 2 minutes remaining here in the 4th quarter of what has been a one-sided affair. So the Lions in possession of the football as we welcome you back to try again after the sack. Stafford. They'll wind up getting 10 back as that sets them up for 3rd down. They like going to him in the slot. He catches another one.
I think this comes under the heading of until they stop him, why not go back to it? He has something going really well. Great working relationship with the guy throwing the ball, and they keep making the connection.
Now the throw on 3rd down, knocked away and incomplete. Ronald Darby that time, the one who got a hand in and knocked it free. Well, the trials and tribulations of being a quarterback in this league, it's tough. It's got to be wearing on him out there.
Well, he has been sacked a number of times. He had an interception, so I'm going to give him a skosh of credit for hanging in there and trying to make something happen, despite the amount of pressure he's been under this entire game.
Well, in the grand scheme of things, those 3 points likely not going to matter much, but I guess they get a little closer, a little more respectability.
Yeah, you're exactly right. They've been outplayed all game long, but like my mom used to tell me all the time before I went out, dress up a little bit, son. Make yourself respectable. And that's what they're doing here. They're just dressing up the final score.
Charles, you said earlier this defense is probably going to need to hold these guys right around 20 or under that if they were going to have a chance. It was evident pretty early on that wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, they left 20 behind a long time ago in this game, didn't they? It looks like they're headed towards a big big, big number. But 20 was the threshold because that kept them in the ball game and kept the pressure off of their own offense.
A nice-looking play to start the drive down the middle and complete. It's a gain of 16 and an Eagle first down. So on that play, defense was in the zone. They ran a crossing route offensively, but the defense there, you got to be good with communication, don't you?
You certainly do, and it's not something that is really evident when you watch it on the screen. But everyone's talking, communicating, pointing, and it keeps you from chasing receivers because you have a specific zone you have to cover. When a receiver's in your zone and he crosses to another one, you got to let your guy know. They got a completion there, but I like the discipline they showed to stay in their proper areas and then make the tackle.
And the Lions going with an extra DB here on third down. Wentz going to throw. And that's complete to Jeffrey. They get 7 there, but it brings up 4th.
Whether you're playing West Coast offense or not, one of the maxims of the West Coast offense is you're either throwing a touchdown or a check down. In other words, look for the big shot, but be smart. I think they did exactly that on that play. They didn't get the first down, but they're taking care of the ball well.
Yeah, and being rightly cautious with that lead here in the second half. That pickup goes for 25. What a flip of the script from 4th down to 1st. So they'll come up 1st and 10 now from the 33. So fly, Eagles, fly. It's a victory for Philadelphia. And they were buoyed, Charles, by a big second half to put this one on ice.
And I know a lot of people watching this one were thinking to themselves, I bet halftime was really interesting. Probably took the paint off the walls with some of the words that were said. But I get the sense it was much more of the adjustments they made. They came in with a game plan that we saw that didn't work in the first half. They made the adjustments necessary, went away from that, and then they got it together, got a spark, and then took off. It's really nice to watch in the second half.
So for Philadelphia, they move ever closer to the perfect regular season as they run things to 14-0. And they will head back home next week. Meanwhile, for Detroit, their playoff hopes take a hit as they drop to 7-7. And they'll try to get back on track next week as they head up to Orchard Park to take on the Buffalo Bills. And for Charles Davis and our entire crew, I'm Brandon Gaudin. You've been watching the NFL on EA Sports.